We're going to go find the rare and elusive domesticated house cat. He's usually found sleeping about somewhere. Sometimes he can be found eating in his designated eating place. It's a rare breed, one that travels alone, kills his prey alone, and loves alone. I found him. Here he is. The rare and elusive domesticated cat in the wilds of suburbia. Isn't he interesting? Copper, where are you going? Hello, I'm the Headless Historian, and why can't you see my face? Well, because I was shrunken by a witch doctor in Africa, and to show that on video would be unseemly. I hope I look good. It's all that matters. We're discussing Africa, very large continent, full of diverse cultures and lots of people, so it's quite comparative in size to India. So why am I taking on such a large piece of land? Because I hate myself. No, that's not it. It's because Africa, I would consider Africa to be almost a united unit in itself. It's united under the OAU, which stands for, I didn't write it down. I'm stupid. Oasis after Unity. No, I don't know. Let me look it up. Organization of African Unity. Take that. I looked it up on the internet. It was established in 1963, actually on the 25th of May, and the 25th of May now in Africa is Africa Day, Unity Day. Very excited. This organization is headed in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and it unifies 53 states. At the beginning, it only had 23 states, and with South Africa being the last to join the Union, it now has 53 independent states. We see Africa as this place where you go on a safari and you find unique animals, which I was trying to allude to at the beginning with my cat, if you didn't get that. If you have to explain it, it's not funny. In fact, I found this beautiful video created by Mammoth, which I will put a link right here for you. It was a group of filmmakers going to the country of Rwanda and filming its wildlife and its people, and it was a beautiful video. So Africa, also known for its ancient culture of Egypt. Egypt, when you think of Africa, you think of Egypt, pyramids. Egypt was, yes, an ancient culture that rose to great heights. It was kind of established, I would say, in 3100 BCE, when the Upper Kingdom took over the Lower Kingdom. And the Upper Kingdom has to do with the flow of the Nile. I don't know why. So the Nile actually flows like north. So it's down and up and it's flowing with the water. And look it up. I'm going to give you some visuals because Egypt is beautiful. In fact, I'm going to give you a story. It's not a good story, so just hang in there. I went to England. I went to the Chatsworth House. Beautiful house. Picture. Bam. You may recognize it from the newest Pride and Prejudice as Mr. Darcy's house, Pemberley. But I went there, and it is full of art from everywhere because England had a great no, I don't think it was great, but they had an effect on Egypt. Most of Africa was colonized at one point by most of Europe. In fact, after, 1945, after World War II, all of Africa, most of its land was conquered by some European country. That'd be French, England, the Dutch, Spain, Portugal. I don't think Spain. But back to the Chatwith house. Okay, so I was at this house, and art from everywhere. And they had this piece. It was carved out of black marble, and there was no ropes around it or anything. And I was just walking next to it, and the tour guide, I guess, rent-a-cop, I don't know what they call it in England, rent-a-bobby, I don't know, said that I could touch it. I was like, what? No way. So I touched it. And I was like, is this a replica? And he's like, no, that's original. That's 3,000 years old. That is an original Egyptian piece of art. I touched a 3,000-year-old piece of art. That's amazing. It blows my mind how old that is. It's really old. Egypt gave us a lot of culture. They influenced a lot of the Greek and Roman cultures in their style of art, as well as their architecture. They're also known for mummies, which are really cool. Africa being kind of united, which is pretty cool. I mean, just because someone's united doesn't mean they don't have problems. I mean, look at the EU. They have a lot of troubles and issues, like every other country we're going to talk about. The trouble they have is a huge population of people with HIV and AIDS. 10% of Nigeria's population has HIV. 10%. So if there were 100 people in Nigeria, 10 of them would have AIDS or HIV. You should probably check your math before you say things. I think it's 10. It's 10. Let's go with that. South Africa, not the country, but the southern area of Africa is affected more by HIV and AIDS rather than the north part. As you may well know, Africa deals with a lot of tribal violence, especially in the country of Rwanda. So April 6, 1994, genocide broke out. Here's the thing. The Dutch colonized Rwanda for some time. And they, being the classifying type of people, scientific minds, made two groups of the natives, the Hutus and the Tutsis. I can't remember. I think the Hutus... Oh, I'm going to get this wrong, but wait. The Tutsis, I think, were not beautiful, but taller, slender, had a different kind of nose than the Hutus, and the Hutus were a larger population. Now, when the Dutch left, the Tutsis were left in charge of, like, governmental things, and the Hutus didn't like that. So, on April 6th, they began a 100-day genocide and killed 800,000 Tutsis and Hutu Tutsi sympathizers. And it was horrible. And no one was there to help. I mean, if you watch the movie Hotel Rwanda, it shows countries just leaving. Because I guess we didn't want to help. I have no idea. There's also a great movie called Sometimes in April, and it talks about how America kind of ignored this issue. It was a travesty. Thousands upon thousands of people murdered because another country said that they were different. And this kind of tribal instinct, I guess, kind of rose up, and anger ensued, and it led to a lot of deaths and violence. There's also a lot of indigenous tribes who are violent against women. There's this tribe that's been created by Rebecca, oh, I'm not going to get this right, Lolisi? Her picture, here, it's right there. It's so cool. She's the cool lady. But she created this Munja women's village where only women can live unless they have sons or the men are willing to live by the women's rules. And they created it because women were being beaten and were being so badly treated by their other tribes that they needed a safe haven. And so they've created this tribe. They make beads and sell beads to bring in revenue for the tribe, and they just live as well as they can with warring tribes coming in and trying to steal the women back. Africa has a lot of governmental turmoil. Libya, 2 years ago, I do believe, but actually killed Gaddafi, their leader. So that government is in a tizzy. We're kind of there. England's kind of there right now, fighting. I don't really know, because no one really knows what's happening. Because we're not being told the whole... No, you're being told. Who knows? I know. Did you just have a whole conversation with yourself about nothing? Egypt just had a governmental overthrow of Mubarak, and now they have a new guy in Morsi, and he's trying to bring everything in, but they're having a lot of riots, which are leading to a lot of violence, and a lot of people are suffering in those countries. Egypt's the one that was 2 years ago. I don't know when Gaddafi was. I should have looked that up. Oh, look, I can. Gaddafi was killed in October of 2011. So why am I talking about all the bad things that happened in a country? It seems counterproductive. I think the reason I feel led to do that is that I want to make sure that we are understanding that everyone is suffering. And even in America, we're suffering. Even though we say we're the greatest country, we still have a lot of issues. And because everyone has issues, we can help each other out. And we can all work together to better things and stop things that are happening that shouldn't happen. I think what's really interesting about Africa is that it was colonized. Again, India was colonized, and I have a fascination with colonized countries. I don't know why. I just think it's interesting of this European culture going in, having an effect, and then leaving, and then what is their culture like after that? I mean, in India, their national language is still English, and they watch cricket. I mean, what's also interesting is how the colonized country then affects the European country. I just find it interesting how two different cultures, kind of extremely different, a Western culture is definitely extremely different than an Eastern culture, kind of coexist. And then once they leave, how it's affected them. Because they were colonized by so many countries, they speak English, Portuguese, French, Arabic, Swahili, and Creole, which is kind of a pidgin English. They have, from kind of a Middle Eastern influence, they have a large portion of Muslim religions, Christian religions, Hindu, and a lot of indigenous religions. They speak over 1,400 languages in the continent of Africa. That's a lot of languages, just because of their indigenous tribes as well. Large part of their indigenous tribes are Amiist. I just learned this word. It's so interesting. They believe that individual spirits kind of are in the earth as well in people. It's almost similar to our Native Americans. And you know what? I'm going to take this moment to say this. We would have been able to enjoy our indigenous tribes and their kind of spiritual aspect, but we almost exterminated all of them, and they now live on reservations. When I talk about America, I'm definitely going to talk about that. It's very sad to me. During the colonization, we, as a Western world, did some great things. We sent a lot of medicine over there, although because there is a lack of medicine, it probably has led to more people being infected by HIV. What I mean is if there's a lack of something, you're going to share it more. And if you share needles, you're going to have more diseases spread. But that's just a theory I have, and I have no way to prove it. We sent missionaries over. We've sent people to educate, which is great. Educating young girls and young boys in Africa is a great, great thing that I think I would love to do one day. There's a movie that I really love called The Nun Story. It doesn't take place all in Africa, and it's a little bit indulgent, but I do love it. It stars Audrey Hepburn. It's also a book, but it starts off with the story of how she becomes a nun, but then how she goes to Africa, and the things she does there with a doctor, and then how she goes back to the Western world, doesn't care for it, and decides that she's going to go back to Africa as, I guess you would say, a civilian and not a nun. It's a great movie. Audrey Hepburn is a great actress. I love her. I really love her. I don't know how to end this video. I guess I can show you more video of my cat, because people watch cat videos, I've been told. Cat. Hey, Copper. So next week we're going to be in Western Europe. That's France, Germany, Spain, Italy. And we won't be going any far east, and we will not be talking about England.